Hello everyone, I'm Steve Savant, syndicated financial columnist and money color commentator. On today's show, your retirement account is an illusion. Part 5 in our series on retirement tips for seniors with registered financial consultant and investment advisor representative, Ted Meyer. Welcome to the 5th segment, Ted.
Thank you, Steve.
Ted, when I first, well, you're freaking me out because when I saw this title, that
a lump sum illusion.
I have a lump sum illusion. I'm thinking like, hey, you know, I got people here in America. They could have maybe a $500,000 in money for retirement. They have $1 million in retirement, and they're going around. I got $1 million. I have 500,000. Do they?
They don't.
They don't.
It's funny. There's even commercials out there. I think it was the old ING used to have people sitting on a park bench walking around with what's your number? 750, 800, million, million too. They used to have it. What's your number? That's an illusion.
Well, wait a minute. How can that be?
Well, it's an illusion because that's not all your money. That's in a qualified account somewhere.
It's in my name.
It's in your name. It's in your IRA account.
Yes.
And what do we have to do at age 70 and a half?
We have to take those payments out.
And when we take those payments out, where does part of that money go?
Sickeningly, ordinary income taxes.
Ordinary income taxes. Yeah, not long term. Ordinary income. So a higher rate, depending on where you fit, depending on your Social Security payments, all that other stuff that comes in. So who gets that other part of your IRA account?
Well, I'm begrudgingly going to have to say Uncle Sam, but but people think they have, when they look at their statement and they have $1 million or 500,000 or whatever the number is, $250,000, they think that's their money and that's the money they have.
Remember, in an earlier segment, we talked about IRA stands for Individual Retirement Arrangement. This is the arrangement with the IRS. They've allowed you to contribute to this account, build all this money up tax deferred. But the caveat was when you go to take it out, we get our fair share. And the fair share.
Let's be full disclosure. We did get a tax deduction for this, okay?
Yes, we did.
So along the way, we got a tax deduction. All right, now, my question is was it worth it? So I'm going to look at the average, think about this, the average 401k guy is a $1,000 contribution. We're not talking a lot of money here. So his average blended rate is about 20% in their working years. So I'm saving $200 per $1,000 that I contribute to the 401k. Now, of course, if I'm getting a match from my employer, I love all that.
Free money.
All right, I'm going to do that all day long.
Absolutely.
But everything after that, think about this. I wonder, is $200 tax savings really helping me when I get to retirement? Should I have paid the $200 and just be done with it so that I can have basis, that it wouldn't affect my Social Security directly? I wouldn't have a gun to my head at, say, 70 and a half for RMDs. It matters. These things really matter. That's why you need people like Ted Meyer, and a lot of the people I have on this show, I bring some of the best guys in here, and one of the reasons I do is because I want you to be fully understood. I want you to be optimizing your retirement, maximizing it, leveraging it, understanding how taxes intertwine in your entire portfolio. Now,
it comes down to the old question. Do you want to pay tax on the seed, or do you want to pay tax on the harvest? And a lot of people are paying tax on the seed these days. They're putting it in there right now. I'm sorry, let me reverse that. They're paying tax on the harvest. They're not paying tax on the seed.
Okay, first of all, it should disturb everyone in the room, and you're watching the show. You're saying, Steve, I have 500,000. You're telling me maybe 100 grand might be going to the government. Yeah, it could be.
That's fair to say.
Could be. And then, by the way, if it was just that, then I would be okay. I'm sorry that it happened, and I'm sorry that you did it. But on top of that, all qualified monies also go over to the provisional income test for Social Security. Now I'm going to get my benefits tax, which, by the way, 22 whatever years ago, they told us they'd never tax Social Security benefits, and that's changed.
That's changed.
By the way, they said they would never mess with Social Security with the boomers, and they did that too. No, we couldn't do no more file and suspend. You know, the file and suspend still up, but I couldn't take the discretionary extra monies. Correct. That's over to the Social Security disability now. So it's important that you know that your tax bill, when you start taking money out, it's going to affect your ordinary income tax as well as your tax on your Social Security benefits. This is a big deal.
It's a huge deal, and most folks are not prepared for it because most folks, earlier segment we talked about advisors, most advisors are gatherers. They just gather assets. You need someone who's going to help you manage the distribution, the withdrawal of all this money, how it's taxed, when it's taxed, how am I going to get it, what this lump sum really is. Just because I think I've got 500 or 750 in an IRA account, that's not there.
Now, we're going to depart a little bit from this, our normal thing. We're going to talk about, so let's say I say, well, a lot of us can't do anything about it. The boomers, a lot of us, we're just finding out about this. We can't change it. All right. So now I have to determine if I have to take RMDs anyways, and it sounds like I do. Some people equate and say, I'm going to take the percentage that I need for my RMDs, and I'm going to guarantee that income. Whether I want to or not, I'm going to guarantee it. And the reason is because I have to take it out anyways. Correct. I want to be able to be guaranteed. People don't realize that the guaranteed income during RMDs will be a safety valve against declining market and the thing that we really hate, sequence of returns. I'm taking money out of my portfolio while the market's going down. And people don't say, that's not the same theory in math as when we were accumulating money in our portfolio. Taking money out is different. And here's the worst part. Because of RMDs put a gun to your head, I'm going to say, I had a bad, the market was bad, I don't want to take any money out. But the government still says it still has to come out.
Not only does it still have to come out,
it still has to come out.
But your expenses are still the same. So even if you had a bad market, you still need that $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 that month, every single month that year, even though it was a bad market year. So guaranteeing that income makes a lot of sense.
Well, think about this. We've been talking about guaranteed income for our paying our guaranteed bills in retirement. I'm bringing a whole nother level of thinking here. I need to defend my RMD against bad sequence of returns.
Yeah.
I have to. So even if I didn't need the income, I had enough annuity income, I had enough Social Security, I had enough pension, I might want to, at 70 and a half, lock down a portion of that to really keep it out of the way of the market in case I have a depressed market. You just got to start thinking through, what should I do with my RMD since I'm forced to take it? This could be another alternative.
If I could eliminate market risk, withdrawal rate risk, sequence of return risk, and guarantee that my R&D check that I take when I'm 70 and a half, 71, 72 is going to be there forever, the same level, I think that makes a lot of sense. It takes all of those risks that we have in retirement, market risk, sequence return, takes them off the table.
Well, now let's talk about, just to be fully disclosure, because Ted and I are full disclosure and caveat guys, the only risk we have is the insurance carrier here. So if we buy an annuity, we want to look at all 6 rating services, and I look at them all. When we have the bigger the case, the more it matters. I need to look at their financial balance sheets. I watch all carriers. There's 700 and something in the United States and Canada now. I get a brief on anything I need. So I want to look at the financial strength, the claims paying ability. I need to see the ratings of the company because that's my risk. My only risk on the annuity is the contract is only as good as the company behind it. So I do have to know what that means.
Absolutely.
Now, when you do that, how do you look at that?
When I look at the ratings and the risk of the companies, same thing. There's 6, 7 agencies out there that look at this. Typically, we look at S&P, we'll look at Moody's, we'll look at Finch. We only deal with A-rated carriers above big, strong names because we want this, again, you're trying to set up income and a guaranteed check for the next 20, 25, 30 years of your life. We want to make sure these companies are going to be around. We can't do that with stocks, bonds, mutual funds. So we go to the annuity world, we go to an insurance carrier, and the insurance carrier is only as good as their ratings. And so we look at those very closely, and we look at balance sheets, figure out the money, figure out the cash flows, make sure it's all there, make sure it all lines up.
This really matters. If you're a senior, you're going to need, I promise you, the bulk of all of us who are seniors are baby boomers coming into the market. Maybe you're already starting to retire, you're retiring soon. In or near retirement, I promise you, you're going to need every dime you're going to need. We have no idea what true cost of living is going to be. The government so far, has not matched any cost of living adjustments to really match true inflationary numbers of what we spend our money on. So it's really an issue for you to keep up in mind. Now, when we're talking about this, I want to, again, we've talked about partitioning income part of our portfolio from growth. And I just brought up another reason why I might want to use this with an RMD, just because I can't handle the sequence of returns going down through a negative market where I'm pulling money out and I'm getting killed on both sides of the fence. So the issue that I like about this, if I go ahead and do this and I put income in, I can get a COLA, I can put it whatever that is, 1, 2, 3%. I saw the other day some guy had a nickel. Some company offered a nickel. That's a lot though, but I want to know, in your mind, if I'm going to go through this lump sum illusion, I'm wondering if I can lower some of my tax costs. Once I hit my RMD, I got to pay that, whatever that is. But you said, like we said in the last section, we can do a qualified longevity annuity to push it out. You could also, by the way, give some of your money to charity now. They don't have to go through the institution any longer. It can go direct. You don't have to go through I have to sell it off, recapture it on my 1040. There's a lot of ways to do that now, and it could be cool. If you're really an affluent client and you have charities of your choice, you could do that as well. Last thing before we close off this whole series and, of course, this segment. When we're talking about lump sum, and you're talking about the lower the lump sum, the more management you need, not the less management. If I only have $250,000, I need to squeeze every dime. Ted, we have people say, I don't need an advisor. I only have $250,000.
The old adage is, the less you have, the more help you need.
That's exactly right.
That's very true. Folks that have lots and lots of money, they have several advisors trying to help them out. They have, fortunately, the leeway to make mistakes. The less money you have, the more important these dollars are to you. The more important guaranteed income is to you. The more important sequence of returns, rate of risk.
Absolutely.
the amount you pay on all this stuff.
So I want you to wake up to this. If you're just a middle-class American, you need to have somebody escort you through this, set you up with a plan that actually works. We talked about the happy factor a couple segments ago. You can't be happy when you don't have security, financial security. You just can't. We can't be sitting, we're not monasteries, we're not in a hermitage, we're not sitting, we're sitting in some monastic lifestyle. Yeah. We have issues to deal with. So I just want to thank Ted for coming on our show and sharing this series on retirement tips for seniors. And keep in mind, before moving forward with any of the ideas on our show, always check with your tax consultant, legal counsel, or your financial advisor. You've been watching Steve Savant's Money, the name of the game.